morning. We are live from Ibiza for another edition of Café Diem 014 with my special guest all the way from London and Ibiza. So we've merged them together with Maze Al-Ali, a naturopathic nutritionist and yoga practitioner who's based in London. So it's a very special Café Diem today because we are going to be talking about an initiative that we are both working on about supporting your immune system so we beat a second wave. Welcome to the Cafe, Maze. How are you?
I'm super. Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be here.
It's my pleasure. And this is the first time that we've done anything where we haven't both been in Ibiza.
Oh, I know.
So you're a very special guest.
I know. Normally I would be there. I spend so much time there. It's my second home.
Yeah, and I do want to get into your connection to Ibiza. But first, my first question for all my guests is, what's brewing? So what are you drinking this morning, Maze? Are you drinking a coffee, a green tea, water? What do you have?
Well, this morning I have a raw cacao hot drink. So
amazing.
I love my raw cacao, and I love ceremonial grade raw cacao because it comes as a rock, often from Guatemala or South America, blessed and kind of made very specially and farmed very wholly. And it's full of antioxidants, full of theobromine, it's calming, and it's also full of caffeine, so it gives you that kick. So you kind of pop it in the blender, and then I added like my favorite plant milk and a little bit of cinnamon, nutmeg, and turmeric, and make it a little bit spicy.
Interesting.
I do also drink coffee occasionally, but I find, coffee can be quite addictive for most people, especially me. So but it's also full of antioxidants as long as it's organic. So I have it a few times a week, always before 11 a.m. to optimize sleep, because caffeine does affect the quality of sleep. But we'll get into that a bit later.
100% it does. And it's interesting because I have a guest staying with us today, and she talked about, because she's not drinking because she's taking antibiotics, which again, different topic. We're not going to get too much into that. But she was like, you realize how much you rely on alcohol when you come to Ibiza in the evening. And she was like, I would probably have a coffee, but it's too late to have a coffee. So people that don't think that they're being affected, their sleep is being affected by the caffeine that they're consuming later in the day, they're crazy, I think. Most of them would consider themselves insomniacs, probably.
No, it really does. So it's all about how you metabolize caffeine and its genetics. So some people metabolize it better than others due to their genetics. I don't metabolize it at all. But even the person who does metabolize it, who says I can have a double espresso and go to sleep, their sleep quality will be affected. They're not getting that deep REM sleep that's rejuvenating. So for everyone, limiting coffee to the morning is a good idea.
Hallelujah. Unless it's an espresso martini on a Friday evening.
Exactly.
In Ibiza, it's all about balance in Ibiza for sure. So awesome. Yeah. So raw cacao, I like it. It sounds delicious. I'm going to have to try it when you come over here for sure. You have to bring some. You have to make me a brew. Perfect.
I don't know if you know Alctara. She's an amazing therapist in Ibiza, and she does cacao ceremonies. So she has it. She sells it there. So get some from her.
I have absolutely done cacao ceremonies with her as well. So I think everybody on the island has for sure.
Yeah.
Super. Awesome. So moving on from coffee, I do want to talk about your affinity to Ibiza. Because I know right now you should be here and you are in spirit, I'm sure. But tell me, Maze, what was the first time, and how did you become so engaged in Ibiza?
Well, maybe a little bit of history about me will help into this.
Sure.
Because I see my life as two lives. The first life where I was a little bit sleepwalking, where I was following the standard Western diet, where there was pain and suffering, and it was masked with kind of the party lifestyle, drugs and alcohol and crazy hectic London jobs and stressful. But within that, there was a lot of fun and joy, and Ibiza was my special place. And that was for partying, and it started the first time I was 19. I'm 42 now. So that was when I fell in love with it. I went for 2 weeks. It was wild. And I immediately wanted to go and spend the summer there and work there. And then it just carried on. So for like, I don't know, 15 years, I would go in the summers to party, and then about 8 years ago, I kind of had enough. I went to India and became a yoga teacher and found myself. And that was the start of my second life. That was like healing, self-care. My interest in nutrition started then. And I still loved Ibiza, and I was coming just as much, and I started to come even more, but to the other side, the spiritual side, because that's why I love it. You know, it attracts both, and both are linked, because when you're searching, you don't know that what you have is inside of you, you know, but you go out and find it in kind of, you know, like alcohol and drugs, but actually your healing is inside of you. And that energy of healing is in Ibiza, as well as the crazy energy as well. So it's like two polar opposites. So then, I've like, you know, spending summers there now. Last summer I was there for quite a while. I usually go about, I don't know, 10 times a year. It's so easy to fly over. I'm close to City Airport. You can do it like door to door in 3 hours from City Airport. And last year I hosted my first retreat there. I'm also a yoga teacher as well as a nutritionist. So it was a yoga and nutrition retreat, and it was beautiful. And we do have another one booked in September. I'm still waiting to see if it will go ahead. I'm supposed to fly out next week, but EasyJet cancelled my flight last week. So the UK government.
I imagine the quarantine's not a huge thing for you, because you probably can just work from home anyway.
It's not a huge thing for me. It's not ideal though, but
it's not ideal for anybody. You know, we're definitely seeing less British tourists on the island for sure because of it, and is a shame for the island, because the island needs you guys over here.
I know. So that's when Ibiza will always have a special place in my heart. It still does. It's like August and I've not been once this year, which is so unusual. So I might be seeing you there next week anyway, if I can find the flight.
Cool. For a CACAO. Well, British Airways is still, I think, plowing through. So maybe, that's what my guest came over on in British Airways. So, okay, cool. So you've kind of answered the second question in a roundabout way about how you ended up getting into your nutrition, your yoga, that sort of thing. So by the sounds of it, it was living the hectic lifestyle in London, which a lot of people seem to do in London. Did it end in a burnout, perhaps, where you said you
did a little bit of a burnout.
Yeah.
So I was producing TV commercials for about 18 years, super stressful, high-powered career. And I just got to a point where I was like, I just can't carry on like this. I'm not happy inside. And there was something missing. And I work with my clients to talk about purpose. What is your purpose in life? What brings you joy? And service. What's your service? How are you helping others in daily life? And that was when I became a yoga teacher. I also became a Reiki healer. The service started then, but I spent like 5 winters in Asia, and I kept going back to work in the summers in advertising. And then 4 years ago, I signed up to my nutrition course, initially for my own interest. And it was quite a tough course for 3 years whilst working full time. And towards the end of it, I was like, wow, this is really what I want to do. You know, this is the next level of service for me. And a year and a half ago, I just quit advertising. I said, no more. And I've been focusing on launching my nutrition clinic and doing more retreats, teaching more yoga, just doing what I love. And I can't tell you how happy I am. It's just like the next level of healing and, you know, just being in service, being in joy and fulfilling my purpose. It's like huge for me. And I think it's huge for everyone. You know, that's the aim in life, really. Yeah.
It should be. And I agree. And I think purpose, especially with an older generation, you can see clearly when they lose their purpose and life just becomes a bit dull and they lose their sparkle. It's such a shame. So now I imagine that we've, you know, what we've been through, what we're going through as global community, there'd be a lot more people searching for their purpose, because, you know, they maybe don't have the job that they thought they were going to have for the rest of their lives, all the things that are going on. So I love that you've touched upon purpose. I think it is such an incredible thing that people really need to focus on. So I love that you use that in your practice as well. And like you say, service as well is even one more step above that, isn't it? Yeah. Excellent. So tell me a little bit about your nutrition course, Mize. I'm quite interested to know about that. Just like, because I think you're a nutritional therapist, which is quite a lot of education.
Yeah, it's like so the course was a naturopathic nutrition course. So for me, I've always been into naturopathy, healing. So basically it's healing the body intrinsically through the healing powers of nature. So I also use functional medicine testing, so quite deep laboratory testing, and genetics, the study of how our genes affect how we metabolize foods, how we react to foods, diseases. And so I use all of that as well. But fundamentally, I believe in the healing power of food first and foremost. So what you're putting into your body totally affects everything, all your hormones and everything, as well as that herbs, natural supplements I use to boost, and where possible, avoiding kind of, modern medicine, and surgery where possible, of course. But yeah, as well as that, I'm in the middle of a master's. So I'm studying a master's in clinical and public health nutrition. Cool. So it's very different from the naturopathic training, which I wholeheartedly believe in. But I think the master's is really good to get that kind of medical recognition, even though some of it I don't wholeheartedly agree with. Yeah.
No, excellent. And that's fantastic. So it's like we have a proper qualified real life nutritionist, naturopathic nutritionist, which is incredible because a lot of people out there that call themselves nutritionists that have not even close to the qualifications that you have. And I love that because definitely it's the way forward, isn't it? And what I think is really interesting and going on with this initiative in Ibiza about beat a second wave or beat the second wave, whatever way you want to look at it, is the fact that why are we not globally shouting about the fact that we can take control of our health?
I know.
We don't have to be, like you say, sick on meds, going into the hospital and ICU, we know that's not going to end well. Like, why are we not talking about that? Why are we just talking about a vaccine? The vaccine is maybe we won't get into that, but that's
that's a whole nother topic.
It is a whole other topic. And I'm not going to be the first one in line for that bloody vaccine. I will tell you that for nothing. I will be monitoring my stress, looking after my sleep, as we have done this whole lockdown, watching my nutrition, that sort of thing. So on that note, Maze, where would you say for somebody who is maybe a little bit lost with what's going on? There's a lot of stuff on social media, a lot of people claiming, that a lot of things. Where would you start somebody who wants to start to honor their health or really make sure that they're not part of this second wave that we hear all the time about it? Where would you start somebody who's looking for some information?
Yeah. So I really feel very strongly. That's why, it was wonderful that Vicky started this initiative of Beat the Second Wave.
Hi, Vicky. She's watching now.
It's please join the Facebook group because we're sharing so much positive information. Number one for me is stop the fear, stop the panic, stop the anxiety. Try not to feed too much into the government propaganda, what the government says and the media especially. It can be very toxic. It can be very triggering. The worst thing for the immune system is stress. And this fear, this anxiety, this fear of other people can really affect that. So number one, try and let go of the fear and feel that you are safe. Feel that you are protected, feel that you are strong, feel that you are healthy, and try and just diminish the, this is a deadly flu virus that's going to kill me. Just try and reverse those thoughts and be in control of those thoughts. So number one is that, being in control of the mind. Okay. And then number two, I think,
sorry, Maze, before you move on to number one, I just want to say is for us, the people in this collective. And again, it's much easier for us because we've trained in it. Ibiza is a very big part of it. There's that, that beautiful well-being, that beautiful sort of naturopathic side of Ibiza. But for somebody in London, in any country, and they really can't, all they're hearing, like you say, is fear. And what would you say would be a nice thing for them to, if you just start to feel, sometimes you don't even feel that the fear has taken over you. I know people that are being really affected by it. So what would you suggest that they could possibly do? Because I know you come from that side of the background as well. So pulling from your yoga meditation, what could somebody do to really start to just de-stress and let the anxiety go? Just number one thing there. What would it be?
I mean, you said it, meditation is number one. Yeah. Spending time in nature, go and sit in the local park and just sit and be be in a quiet space, close the eyes down, connect to nature, feel your roots grounded into Mother Earth, feel just this like white kind of healing light around you, protecting you, feel protected, feel love in your heart. And that's the thing, feel the love and compassion in your heart and banish the kind of fear and anxiety. And I've seen a lot of judgment and attack as well, you know, on social media, and that just get rid of that negative and just feel you're protected, your family's protected, and just keep that positive energy going. Yoga Nidra is a wonderful practice. It's like deep yogic sleep. You know, get in touch with me. Healthy Maze is my Instagram. I can send you some recordings that I've done. It's like you can do a 30-minute Yoga Nidra. You lie down and it talks to your, it's like deep meditation. So they say half an hour of Yoga Nidra is worth like 4 hours of sleep, or an hour of Yoga Nidra is worth 4 hours of sleep. And it works on your subconscious reprogramming with positivity. It's super healing. You'll sleep like a baby, less anxiety, less stress, loads of clinical research on Yoga Nidra. So give that a go.
Cool. So again, I think for us, very easy for us to do. But if we were even to scale it back into taking maybe 5 minutes a day, so having maybe like a 5-minute action where that is just some breathing even, like, and then the Yoga Nidra might be the next sort of step, because I know there's people, like I can think of my family in London, that are definitely suffering from the anxiety of this whole pandemic, that even if I say meditation, they're like, I don't have time to meditate, even though they have all the time in the world. But all it takes is just 5 minutes. And if you don't even have 5 minutes, you could have 5 deep inhalations and 5 deep exhalations. So just really starting from the foundation, right? Breath work.
Is wonderful. Breath work is wonderful. Just count the breath. Inhale, count 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, count 1, 2, 3, 4. Just sitting and breathing, or movement. You know, the aim of yoga is meditation. So when you're moving your body in yoga, you are not in the mind, but you're less in the mind and more in the body. So you're thinking less. So just 5 minutes of stretching. There's so much free yoga out there. There's someone, you know, I've got like a yoga lesson on my Instagram page for free, an Ashtanga yoga lesson. So just stretch, breathe, even just sit on the floor by your bed for 5 minutes if you don't have time to go to the park. There's always time, and it's all an act of self-love. So you just think, what can I do to love myself, to heal myself and look after myself? And you make time in that way because you are important.
Definitely. So I love it. So we start with managing stress, and we start with maybe meditation if we feel that, but at least something to do with breath. So what would be the second thing that you would put out to the world about how we can support our immunity, mice?
Rainbow veggies, increasing your veggies, So the NHS in the UK suggests 5 portions of fruit and veggies a day. I say to my clients, aim for 10, aim high, So if you just have like 3, if you think 3 meals a day, 3 per meal. And within that 10, most people eat a lot of fruit. And whilst fruit is better than a Mars bar, it's still kind of quite high sugar, and it kind of gets converted into glucose. I mean, it can affect your blood levels if you're having too much. So 2 fruit, 8 veg. Focus on seasonal fruit. Like I don't eat tropical fruits in England because they're picked unripe, shipped for months, and any fruit that's picked unripe doesn't have enough vitamins and minerals in it because it's not had a chance to grow and develop them. So actually, they end up being quite high sugar without the benefits. So a mango plucked from the tree in India, there's nothing better. But mangoes here, is a problem. But berries in the UK right now, it's blackberry season. Go and pick blackberries with your kids and freeze them for the winter. And, so many amazing local seasonal fruits in Ibiza as well. So 2 fruits, 8 veg. Make sure you're eating dark green leafy veg. So the dark green leaves are so important. If you're not eating them, you're not getting magnesium, you're not getting B vitamins. They're both needed to improve your energy levels and then in turn keep the immune system functioning. And it's antioxidants. The more colorful, the better. Every different colored fruit and veggie has different antioxidants that are beneficial. Purple fruits and veggies have resveratrol. It's like the daddy of antioxidants, really good for cardiovascular health, blood vessels. Red is very good for lycopene, which is especially for men great for prostate health. So tomatoes, and actually a red pepper has more vitamin C than an orange. So get those rainbow fruits and veggies in, and, you know, try not to eat the same thing every week. You know, try and alternate daily and weekly if you can. And where possible, go organic. I know it's budget permitting and sometimes hard to get hold of, but if you can, and if you can't, then just kind of rinse them for 10 minutes in bicarb of soda and a little apple cider vinegar. It helps to remove the pesticides and chemicals. And that's the other thing. It's kind of like trying to live as naturally as we can. So when you think about it, all these kind of pesticides and chemicals and products in our skin and bleach on our cleaning products, they're called endocrine disruptors. So the endocrine system is our hormone system. So they disrupt our hormone levels, and then we just become out of balance, and then that affects the immune system. So just trying to go back to our roots as cavemen and in living more naturopathically, you know, think about, you know, what am I putting on my skin? Do I really need shampoo and conditioner every day? That if you look at all the ingredients, if there's like 220 weird ingredients that you can't even pronounce, just think, what is that, you know? And what effect is that going to have on me? The skin is our biggest organ of absorption, apart from next to our digestive system. So anything you put on your skin is getting absorbed into your blood and into your body. So, you know, use coconut oil on your skin. You can cook with it. You can use it instead of like body cream with lots of kind of chemicals in. So little tips like that, just to live more naturopathically.
Okay. So number 1, manage stress, breathwork, yoga, meditation. Number 2, eat the rainbow. So if we were to even dial that back again for people that are eating a lot of processed food, which is like what's killing everybody basically, and the oils in the processed food, which again, we can maybe get on to today or not. Every single day, have a big ass salad with like different, like you say, all the seasonal things. But if you can every day, just try to have a salad that has like your 5 or 6 different veggies in it. And that would be a really great place to start. So just thinking about that sort of thing. So the people are like, oof, I don't like greens. I don't like this. I don't like this. It's like, you could even steam them if you wanted. You don't even have to have a salad. But yeah, you'd be surprised though. People, like I say, this building on this sort of foundation is the eating the rainbow. But there's people out there that would prefer to have McDonald's every day. So yeah, your fruit, having your 2 fruits, you know, maximum of your 2 fruits, whatever it happens to be. And then again, having a big ass salad every day. And that's a very good place to start. A very simple way to start, right?
As well as that, smoothies are great. You can bung in 3 or 4 veggies in there.
Yeah. You don't like kale, put it in a smoothie.
I promise you won't taste it, you know? And the thing, a lot of people make smoothies and they put loads of fruit in, you know, loads of fruit. That's not ideal. So switch that around. And things that you can do to make a smoothie really creamy. And if you look at my Instagram, I love smoothie bowls, you know, and that makes it super creamy and it's like an ice cream texture. So you can steam cauliflower, you can steam sweet potato, you can steam courgette or zucchini, and then you freeze that in small bags and you add that into the smoothie and it goes really creamy. The sweet potato especially makes it kind of like more sweet, and you don't need to add any sweetener at all. So that's half an avocado as well, and even half a banana frozen gives it that nice cream texture. Freeze your berries and then bung them in the smoothie, and then you have like a nice smoothie bowl, and you can decorate it with lots of cool toppings. Check out my Instagram.
You Healthy Maze, she loves her food for sure. It's a beautiful Instagram, by the way. Cool. Awesome. So very clear. So if we were just to, like I say, eat the rainbow, so try to eat up to 10 or 8 vegetables a day and your 2 pieces of fruits a day. So it's a very good place to start to get your micronutrients in and start to get these vitamins that your system's probably missing. So number 3, what would you say number 3 would be?
I mean, I think gut health is really important. So 70% of our immune system is in our gut. As well as that, 90% of the serotonin is produced in our gut. So serotonin is our happy hormone, linked to depression, anxiety, and increased levels of stress. So you can just see that if the gut isn't functioning properly, not only is your immunity going to be affected, but your mood is going to be affected. And so much research on the gut-brain connection, so the vagus nerve links the gut to the brain directly. And it's a two-way link. So what we eat affects our mood, and our mood affects our gut. So it's so important to work on gut health. And, it's like listening to your body. Like, often we know what foods are reacting with us, but most people get so out of tune and out of sync, and they don't notice. They realize, okay, I'm eating gluten every day and it's bloating me and giving me digestive issues, but they just carry on eating it. So I encourage my clients, if you're feeling a reaction from certain foods, just think about it, that my body's reacting to that, and perhaps eliminate that and check how you feel. If the reaction stops, then that means it would do you good to not have that. And I'll tell you, gluten and dairy are the two biggest culprits to cause gut health issues and hormonal issues and blood sugar issues for more the dairy for a lot of people. So check in with your body, listen to what's reacting, maybe like eat more fermented foods. So they are natural probiotics. So things like kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, tempeh, which is fermented soy, kombucha is wonderful as well. Eating bitter leaves. So I often kind of, that's why traditionally you have like a salad as a starter, because bitter leaves, that bitter taste stimulates digestive enzyme production. So often I'll munch on a bag of rocket whilst I'm cooking, as a like little starter. So rocket, watercress, like a grazing cow, so rocket, watercress, endive, chicory, get those bitter leaves in.
You're really great. Excellent. Gut health. So clear. So again, for somebody who has no clue, like I say, they're so out of tune with what they're eating. They're eating a lot of processed food, a lot of the rancid oils. You did mention some, and I know you're doing a fermented workshop coming up. I think you do that online, or is that going to be just? Yeah,
it's a virtual workshop next Saturday, the 15th. So 10 till 12. I'll go through how to make kombucha, how to make water kefir is really yummy too, very fizzy drink, and sauerkraut. So
fantastic. Yeah. I think that's fantastic. So everything that we've spoken about, that we're speaking about, I'll definitely make sure we're going to put it in the description box below. And anybody who has any questions for Mize as well, if they could put them in the description below as well, because it's important that we continue this conversation. So gut health, how would somebody know, besides obviously eating something and they're bloated, like what are some of the other signs that people could look out for that they're like, I really, really need to look after my gut health? Because before they may not even have thought about this sort of thing. So what's something that would be, constipation perhaps?
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
The doctors kind of give a blanket IBS diagnosis, irritable bowel syndrome, to anything unusual going on in the gut. So if you find that you're alternating between diarrhea, constipation, flatulence, bloating, cramping, all this kind of stuff, then there is something going. So really, you should be pooping 1 to 2 times a day, and your poops should be like a dream. I know mine are. And that's what you want to aim for,
Dream, I love it. I'm going to be like, what is a dreaming poop? What's a dream? But there is a stool gradient that you can actually check. So we can put that in the description below if people are wondering what dreaming poop looks like.
Bristol stool chart, it's called. I laugh their heads off when I whip that out and I say, tell me, what does your poop look like?
Yeah, it's really important. It really is important. And we laugh about it, but it is like a telltale sign for sure.
It really is. And then there's even, there's like red flags if there's kind of blood in the stool or mucus, and these are like some serious issues going on, and the stool turns black color, then you need a trip to the doctors for sure.
Okay, so good point. So if you can believe it, we're coming up to our 30 minutes, and I like to keep this short and sweet. So we have yoga, meditation, breathing at the very base. We have eating the rainbow, so making sure that you're getting your like fibrous vegetables, your micronutrients, all of your vegetables, and of course your 2 fruit a day. And then we have managing your gut health. Now, what would you say on the last thing? What would be the last thing that people could right now take away with them, and just starting right now? What could be it to support our immune system? What would it be?
I think supplementation can be important.
Right.
So I think making sure, vitamin D is really important. Getting like an hour of sunshine on your skin a day, very easy in Ibiza. In the UK, you might need to supplement with a vitamin D drops. Zinc is a really important, essential immune system mineral. If you like oysters, oysters are the biggest source of zinc ever.
Hard to come by though for most people, for sure.
Hard to come by, and vitamin C, the master antioxidant for immune system. A lot of research with vitamin C and COVID improving symptoms, like high doses, like 1,000 milligrams. So I think those 3 supplements are really key for immune health.
Yeah. Okay. So again, vitamin D3. Taken with K2, ideally. And then you have vitamin C. Again, you could take it in liposome form, which is a really great way to get it in very quickly. And then, of course, zinc as well, right? Just to confirm. Yeah, super.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think we could, and we will do, we're going to talk to Vicky next month about it, because we could talk about this forever. And one of the things I think I want to bring up just before we kind of wrap up here is Vicky showed us something that came in the UK in the post about sunlight on your body, and about how you need to cover your whole body from head to toe from getting sunlight, which is just wrong in so many ways. If you're going to go out to the beach and bake yourself for 6 hours, yes, you need to make sure that you're going to put on a mineral sunscreen, not a chemical sunscreen as well. And just actually don't spend 6 hours baking yourself out in the sun. That's just not a good thing to do. But what's really important is the fact that you do need to get sunlight on your body. You could maybe, not do your face. And like you say, like for at least 20 minutes, until you start to get a little bit pink. And then it's time to leave. But what I must say, even though I live in Ibiza and it's sunny and I'm very protective of, like I say, my tattoo, my face, I tested for low vitamin D when I was in the UK. So I had to supplement as well. So people that are in the UK, especially vegetarians and vegans and that sort of thing, making sure that you are optimizing your vitamin D3 is probably like the easiest thing that you can do right now. Is you can go buy a reputable source of D3, especially if you're a vegetarian or vegan. So I think from Ibiza, that's my number one, is D3 with K2. And then we have all of these wonderful things that Maze has told us as well. So the thing you can take away today is just supplement with vitamin D3 if you don't think you're getting enough, which, like you say, in the UK, you're probably not.
Yeah, I mean, you need the whole body to have half an hour of sunlight. And like you said, if you burn quickly, you'll for 20 minutes, you'll be fine. You can feel it when your skin gets prickly. And actually, coconut oil is like a natural sunscreen. So believe it or not, you can stay out a bit longer. And don't stay out for 6 hours with toxic sunblock on your skin.
No. Just
spend less time, get under the umbrella, go in and out, protect your skin, but you need that sunlight on it.
What we do, and we need it like now, like more than ever for sure. So I don't know what the weather's like in the UK now, but I think it's pretty nice, isn't it? But
at the moment,
and that just brings us back to the first one that you mentioned, is go out in nature, even if you have to lay in your park or on your grass or in your friend's lawn or whatever it is, go out and get some sun on you for sure. And don't believe what the UK said about covering your whole body from head to toe and blocking out all that sun, because we need vitamin D3 immensely right now for sure. So super
100%.
Good. Awesome. So we're going to continue this conversation with Vicky Godfrey next month. And I actually want to know how you two know each other. Did you study together?
It's a really funny story. We met through Facebook. The beauty of social media. We both work in advertising, or I used to work, Vicky still does, as producers. Yep. And there's a group called Women in Advertising Production, a Facebook group.
Cool.
And she posted that she was a producer and hosting a yoga retreat in Ibiza. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a producer and I'm hosting a yoga retreat in Ibiza. We're actually identical.
Cool.
And then we just started chatting and going, God, we're so the same. And then we became friends. And it's love. That's the beauty of social media. Can be very toxic, but it can be lovely as well, and connecting people. And I adore Vicky. She's incredible.
Well, we've never met face to face, so just living room to living room as it stands. Super. So like I say, we will continue this conversation with Vicky Godfrey. And I'm also really looking forward to speaking to her about DNA Pal as well. So talking about that sort of it, because the epigenetic side of it is incredible as well. So no matter what you do, sometimes you just can't, you can't prevent what your genetics are, right? You just have to go with what your DNA, what you were born with.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I do recommend it to all my clients because it just shows you what you're predisposed to. The thing is, the genes can be switched on and off. So just because you're predisposed doesn't mean you're going to get something. But knowing you are predisposed will maybe make you think twice about the choices you make. That's why it's super powerful.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's very, very true. And thank you for correcting me on that. It's 100%. It's very much your environment. So if you think you're in a toxic environment, you're not getting enough sun, maybe a bad relationship, like you say, what you think as well is directly related to everything that's going on in your physiology as well. So fantastic. Really good way to end, I must say. So thank you. I really, really appreciate you being my 14th guest on Café Diem, which was born out of lockdown in Ibiza for drinking a black coffee early in the morning and talking about well-being with my guests. So I love that I've had a London guest and we're on the same page, and we will continue to shout from the rooftops about beating a second wave. And we will hold hands and we will make sure that everybody knows what they can do to support their immunity coming up in the next couple months as well. It's very important. So we stay as healthy as we possibly can. So if you're looking to get a hold of Maze, pardon me, is Healthy Maze at Facebook, Instagram, and healthymaze.com on the web. And perhaps maybe you're interested in supporting your gut health and doing her fermenting course, which I think sounds incredible. I might join on that myself, because sauerkraut's one of my favorite things. And then I'm just going to make a mention of next week. I'm going to have a good pal of mine who I trained with at EIF. So we trained as master coaches together. My friend DILLON, who is a fitness and self-development coach for young and growing minds, and has a background in psychology as well. So not just a pretty face or a nice biceps on the PT game. He is very, very intelligent. I'm looking forward to speaking to him about what the kids are doing right now. Because I know some of the kids in Ibiza don't believe the virus exists, and they're not wearing masks, and they're just being they're being teenagers. And I want to know what they're thinking, how they're supporting their immune system, and also making sure that we're supporting the most vulnerable as well. So I'm going to have a chat with DILLON next week as well. And if you're looking to get a hold of Café Diem, kept it nice and simple, Instagram, Facebook, and SoundCloud, Café Diem Ibiza. Of course, you'll be watching this back on YouTube. So if you have any questions, please, again, in the comments below. If you like the conversation, like it. If you want to share it to somebody who needs to hear this, please do. And of course, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to just get 100 subscriptions, not a lot to ask for, as we move on in the next couple months here. And of course, I as well am a health and fitness coach. And again, I'm very habit-based. So like I say, that's why I build the foundation. So we start with that foundation. So looking after your sleep, looking after stress, eating the rainbow, maximizing protein as well, that sort of thing. So you can find me at Unconditional Love Ibiza. So that's Café Diem for Wellbeing Wednesday, the 5th of August, our first one in August. And we continue next week, and we see Vicky Godfrey next month. So I really appreciate it, Maze. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being my guest and for having a cacao with me. Awesome. If you have any questions, please get a hold of her as well. Thank you. Adios.